am currently in my car, as you can probably tell. It has been a bit of a hectic morning. I was supposed to have been vlogging like way before this, and then this morning just didn't go the way that I had initially planned for it to go. I woke up a bit later. I went to bed at like 1:30 a.m. last night, which is pretty late for me, and I slept until like 11, so I slept for quite a long time. Oh, I think it's quieter now. Okay, perfect. So went to bed a lot later, woke up a lot later, and I have a baby shower to go to. That's where I'm going right now. That's where I'm driving to for my sister. Oop, you guys fell. For my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law, so my brother's wife, they are having a baby girl sometime in the next 2 months. I will have a little niece born into the world. I'm so excited. And they're having their baby shower today. And the reason that the morning was a little hectic, because I woke up at like 11, and that's still plenty of time to go to a baby shower at like 2 p.m. But originally I wasn't going to bring anything to the baby shower today because I've already bought a bunch of stuff for my sister-in-law, for my niece, for when she's born. And they had originally not expected to have a baby shower, like a formal one, just because my sister-in-law is doing her residency for medical school right now. She does not have like a ton of free time, especially like free days on the weekends. And so they weren't going to do a baby shower. So I just had gone ahead and bought some stuff for them off of their wish list. Didn't really think anything about it. But then as I was thinking about it last night, I was like, I really don't want to show up to my like sister-in-law and my niece's like baby shower empty-handed. Like that feels like really wrong to me, even though my sister-in-law did tell me like I totally didn't have to like bring anything because I've already bought them stuff. But I didn't like that, and so I got up, I started getting ready, and then I headed to the store, and I was like, I need to bring something. And so I got, this is going to be a struggle. So I got some diapers, some, I think size 1 diapers. I don't know if that's the sizing or the age range, but got some diapers, and then I found a cute little bunny toy that I'm going to give. And then I wanted to give something that wasn't necessarily baby related, just something for my brother and his wife. And so I got them a DoorDash gift card, so once she's born, they can just DoorDash themselves some food. So I just wanted to make it a bit easier on them once she is born. They can just order some food, not have to leave the house, and not have to worry about money. So I got that together, but it took a little bit of time for me to get ready and then to go out and buy the gifts. And then I also had to pick up my prescription medicine because they keep like warning me that they're only going to hold it for a few more days, and I'm almost out anyway. And so I had to get all that, and then I had to put it all together in the bag and make it look cute and write in the card. And so I don't know, it feels like it really shouldn't have been as urgent as it ended up being, but I'm someone that gets super stressed at the thought of being late to something, especially something like this. Like I really don't want to be late to something like this. And so I just was trying to get it together and stressed myself out considerably. So even though it's supposed to be a vlog weekend, I'm supposed to be vlogging, this is my first time filming anything. It's just been a little bit hectic. I was actually supposed to start filming last night because I went to the movies last night. I saw the new Conjuring movie with some friends, and I don't know, it's just, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't gonna force it, but here we are. So, oh my goodness.
That will be the penguin. All right. Who will read more bedtime stories? Raise your hand if you think Daddy will. Mommy will? Read more bedtime stories? Okay.
She can read.
That does help. It's kind of a prerequisite. It's the most important question on here, right? Who will change more diapers? Who says Mommy will change more diapers?
I answered.
Yeah. I'm also 10 minutes away, so if you need me to give you food, I can. But I was like, there you go.
And the diapers.
Empty-handed, so I got a little. You're so good out here. So this is my fall garden that I kind of somewhat put together. It does not look like much. I really wanted to do like a in-ground situation just because, one, raised beds are kind of expensive, and also the soil here is pretty nice, I would say. Only thing, I had to hand till this, which sucked. So there's that, but I'm also gonna have to keep an eye on it. There's like a little bit of like weeds that are here that I'm just gonna have to pay attention to, but I can kind of differentiate what's a weed versus like, this is very much one of the things that I've planted. I believe that is as well. So keeping an eye on it. I'm honestly doing a little bit of chaos gardening with this because I just kind of put stuff wherever and then we're gonna see what pops up. But I need to water this, I need to keep it moist. I also have, it's my basil plant who is flowering currently. I let it go to flower for some reason, not really sure why I did that, but I let it go to flower. We'll see. I might trim them off, but I've been enjoying having the flowers out and I've seen a lot of bugs on them. I also have this down here, which again, I know it looks like absolutely nothing, but there are seeds here, and this was like, but this was covered with like a bunch of like mulch and stuff from the previous owners, and Aaron cleared it off, and when he cleared it, there was like this super fertile looking soil. So I went ahead and planted some stuff here, and yeah, again, kind of chaos gardening. Kind of excited to see what pops up, but I need to water this. So that's what is on the agenda. The other task that I have is this. This is the compost box that Aaron put together for me out of some pallets that we had left over from when we redid our floors. So turn this into a compost box. I can kind of show you. He put a latch to kind of help it, but of course she's not much right now because we just started it. It's just a bunch of leaves, and then you can see like there's some eggshells in there, maybe some bell peppers, but I need to get this wet. So I'm going to spray this down as well with the hose.
Yo. Don't break an ankle, please. It looks like it should be falling down.
I don't know what it is, but I feel so absolutely exhausted today. Literally all I've done is go to the baby shower and then come home and like watch a movie. I just feel so drained. So I think I'm gonna run a hot bath. I've been super into baths recently. I feel like they either will rejuvenate me or it'll just like really settle me in for a good night's sleep. Either way, I just think being in a hot bath, watching some YouTube videos, just kind of relaxing is what I need right now because I don't have a ton of energy. So I'm gonna get that going, try to make it a little bit cozy, set the mood a bit, but I am so tired. Note, I just grabbed my pajamas and I realized that the reason I'm probably tired is because my period's coming. I looked down and saw my Oura ring, and my Oura ring has been kind of yelling at me the past few days, warning me that it should be literally any day now. So that's probably why. Which makes me feel a little bit better because, sir, what are you doing? What are we doing? But that makes me feel a little bit better because I was really like worried that I was getting sick or something.
Me too, of course.
Getting struck by lightning, I'm very curious.
Oh my gosh, my cat is playing with the camera. I was getting kind of worried that I was sick or something because I just felt so drained all day today. Even yesterday, like I was so tired and like I had plans and I was like, I just want to lay down. And so I was a little concerned, but no, actually that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm in my bathroom right now. But something I've been doing a lot recently whenever I want to take a good bath is put some herbs in the bath to kind of help cleanse me of just all of the bleh energy. So I use sage, which this is literally just ground sage, something you use in cooking. Then I use this Himalayan pink salt. Yeah, pure Himalayan salt. I use this. And then I finish it with some rose petals. I really like the smell of roses, but I feel like it just gives like a really nice kind of like calming vibe to the bath as well. And let me go in here actually. There's one other thing, which honestly you can probably hear me better. now. But one other thing that I have been adding is an oil into the bath. This is a Prosperity oil that I got from Moonlight and Sage shop. You can find them online. But I've been adding this in as well to the baths. They smell amazing, but they also just make me feel really good. This particular oil is, again, Prosperity, so it's all about like abundance and luck, and honestly that can't hurt to add to a bath. So I'm gonna put this, and then I think I have one tiny bath bomb left that I got as like a Christmas present maybe like 3 years ago, so I'm gonna add that in as well. There we go. Hi everyone, excuse the mess that is my hair. I thought I would bring you guys with me while kind of get ready for the day and to kind of spend some time just talking about life updates. So earlier this year in March 2025, I had a sudden like episode of blurry vision when I was home alone, and it really freaked me out. At the time, I had never experienced anything like that before. I wasn't in pain or anything. It was just like a really weird feeling in my head, and then like my vision was just really blurry, and I actually thought at the time I was having a stroke or like an aneurysm, like something like that. I wasn't sure what's going on, and then within a few minutes like it completely just went away. Of course, I'm already a very anxious individual, and so when this happened I was like, okay, something's wrong. Like that has never happened before in my life. Something has to be wrong. I wasn't really sure what to do. Aaron ended up coming home and he was like, do we need to go to the ER? Like, what do you think? Like, if you're feeling better, then maybe it was just a fluke. I wasn't sure. I called my mom, who's a nurse, and she was like, you know, it's probably fine. Like, if it happens again, you can go to the doctor, but if not, you're probably good. But my anxiety was just high alert, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I went to, of course, like the worst case scenarios. I went to, oh my gosh, I have a brain tumor, or like there's a blood clot, like something is severely wrong with me, and that's why this happened. Even though like I recovered, I was fine. I ended up going to urgent care because I was like, okay, well, I'm fine now, so ER feels too serious and I'll probably just end up waiting there for a really long time. So I was like, let me just go to urgent care, see what they can do. So I go to the urgent care, and the whole time we're in urgent care, I'm like Googling things, which you should not do. For reference, that is a horrible thing to do because Google is not your friend when it comes to looking up symptoms, especially if you're anxious about those symptoms. So I'm waiting in the urgent care, Googling symptoms. I'm seeing things like MS pop up. I'm seeing like ALS. I'm getting freaked out because I'm like, oh my God, it's something serious. It's something life ending. What am I going to do? We go in there and the doctor is fully like, I don't know. She's like, I have no idea. Like, it went away, so there's not really a whole lot we can look at. Like, we can do your blood work, we can like test your blood pressure, all of this, but like there's just not a whole lot that we can do in this situation. We just kind of have to, you know, see if it happens again, go to the ER, but if not, maybe it was a fluke. And I don't know. You would think that maybe you would feel better with the doctor not being worried that it's nothing super like serious, but I was more worried that it was just something they weren't finding, like it was going to happen again and could potentially be life-threatening. We go back home and I cannot sleep. Like, I am so anxious, like one of the most anxious that I've ever been in my life. There's kind of two conflicting things going on for me at this moment. I both don't want it to happen again because I want to be okay, but I almost want it to happen again so I have a reason to go to the ER and figure out what is going on, like what is it. And so I'm laying in bed and I just cannot sleep. I take a melatonin, doesn't work. Like, I am just exhausted and I just can't stop thinking that I'm dying, that something is wrong, or that I'm going to fall asleep and I'm not going to wake up. I'm to the point now where I am fully nauseous. I have no appetite. struggle to sleep. I'm very jittery. I'm just kind of panicking. And I ended up going in to work that day, and I was able to set up a same-day appointment with my primary care provider because I was just freaked out. I was like, okay, urgent care, maybe they just like, you know, they don't really have like a vested interest, you know, maybe they're just kind of trying to get people in and out as fast as possible. They checked me out and they were like, honestly, like, you're fine. There's no history or reason to believe that this was like a stroke or something like that. We probably would have already seen effects of that by now, but like your history, like I'm young. There's nothing that would lead anyone to believe that that is something that would happen to me. So he said more than likely, he thought it was either induced by stress, which was totally possible because I was already very stressed out that day. I was just going through normal anxiety symptoms that day. 2, I was recovering from a cold, and he said that sometimes things like that can happen when you have a cold. Like it can just kind of be like a weird temporary symptom. And the third thing that he thought was it could be a type of migraine because I already get migraines with auras. Typically my aura that I experience is like these spots in my vision that I will get like an hour or so before I feel the pain of a migraine. But there was still no definite answer of this is what happened to you, this is what it was. It was like, we really don't know, but you know, just kind of wait and see. If it happens again, then we will, you know, we can look into it a bit more. But if it just happened the once, then there's not really like, you know, just kind of chill. Like you're probably fine. Probably was not what I was wanting to hear. I was, now in hindsight, I know my fight or flight was basically fully kicked on and had not stopped since the initial like moment happened. And so I felt better hearing the doctor not be concerned, but it was still them kind of saying, you know, we would be more worried if you started to have it happen a lot. And so I started getting this fear of what if it starts happening again, and what if it is a brain tumor, or what if it is something serious, like, you know, and this is the beginning. I started having that kind of thinking. So I did feel a little better, but still not great. And so I was like, okay, fine. Like maybe I just need to calm down. The doctor said it's okay, I'll just wait. The next few days that went by were absolutely god-awful. My anxiety never went down. In fact, it actually got worse, and I started experiencing very physical symptoms that I, of course, now know were basically physical responses to my anxiety. I'd never experienced physical anxiety quite that way before, so I wasn't realizing that that is what it was. But I was having extremely physical anxiety symptoms. For example, I was getting dizzy constantly. I would move and it would feel like I moved too fast. Like it was just, I felt dizzy all the time. I was extremely nauseous. I couldn't eat. When I would try to brush my teeth, I would like gag and almost throw up. I couldn't sleep for the life of me. I was trying CBD, I was trying melatonin. I could not sleep. It was so difficult. But the main thing that was freaking me out was I would get these like episodes, I guess, where I don't even know how to describe it other than it was like my body would just suddenly surge. Like I would feel this like surge, this buildup, and it would kind of go into my head and my heart would start racing, and like I would panic because I was so sure that something was happening. Like I'm about to have a stroke, I'm about to have something happen, something major. It would just build and build and build, and I would kind of like stand up or like panic because I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then it would just go away. In hindsight again now, pretty sure that those were panic attacks. I had just never experienced them before. I wasn't familiar with it. I think in my mind I thought that when you had a panic attack you kind of knew you were having a panic attack, but in my case I did not know, and I thought something was physically very, very wrong with me. I thought the blurry vision was the first symptom of something that was now causing me to be dizzy and nauseous and have insomnia and have these sudden rushes. So I thought this was kind of a culmination of a lot of things. Then in the background of me having these very physical symptoms, I kind of just had this baseline high anxiety that was just always there. Like my stomach was always kind of cramped. I was just always very jittery, just on edge. Everyone could tell that something wasn't really right with me. If I had to rate my anxiety at that point in time, it was like a 9 or a 10. Like it was the worst I've ever felt in my life, and it was lasting so long. I actually do need to start doing my hair while I'm talking about this. All right, there we go. Brushed it out. So as I was saying, it was just a really rough time. I ended up making another appointment with my PCP because again, I was like, I think something's wrong. I did have the possibility in my head that it could have been anxiety, but that was not really what my brain was wanting to go to. I was, you know, I was thinking back to that first incident and thinking that this was related. I went back to my PCP and told him everything that was going on, and he was like, you know, I feel like this is very much anxiety. He's like, but we won't be able to tell until we get your anxiety to calm down. If we get your anxiety to calm down and we see that these symptoms are still there, then we'll know that it's something more and we can look into it. But he was able to tell. He was like, you are extremely anxious right now. He's like, everything about you, like your vitals are super anxious, more so than normal. Like, you are on edge, and this is something that he didn't necessarily say it this way, but basically, like, you're really freaked out over this one-time incident that you shouldn't be this freaked out over. Like, you should maybe be like a little bit like aware, but you shouldn't be this level. And so I think he kind of knew it was anxiety, but he wasn't wanting to brush me off as anxiety. So he said, okay, let's treat this anxiety first, because you're not able to eat, you're not able to sleep, you're not able to function. And then once we, you know, have worked on this anxiety, then we can start looking into it if it's still there. So I was like, cool, cool, cool. I got prescribed Lexapro, or escitalopram, I guess, depending. I guess Lexapro is the brand name. But Lexapro takes time to work. It's going to take time. And so he was like, I know that right now you're going through a lot. So I'm gonna give you, what was it called? He gave me some medicine that is for like panic attacks specifically. And a lot of times people use it like right before they do public speaking, because it helps like calm your heart rate down. But the clinic that I went to at that point, they could not prescribe any kind of like narcotic addictive drug as like a policy, because they did have like a walk-in clinic. So because they had walk-ins, they just made it like a standard policy of like not prescribing those. So there is medications you can get on that I guess somewhat instantly relieve anxiety, like within an hour, but they wouldn't prescribe those because they could potentially be addictive. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I'll take whatever you give me. Like, I just need hope. I need help. And so took the medicine, and I had a little bit of a placebo effect for a while, where when I started taking my Lexapro, I swore within like 2 days, like I started to feel better. Like I swore I was feeling better. And I was like, cool, this is all I needed. This is all I needed. But then a week after being on Lexapro, I was sitting on the couch at night, and I started to get this tingling sensation in my head. Again, it didn't hurt. Nothing else happened. It was just a tingling, but this tingling set off this anxiety like in the pit of my stomach. Like I remember just this dread, this like adrenaline filled my body. I was like, oh my God, it's happening again. And I was like, no, 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 like I don't want to be that anxious again. I don't want to go through this anxiety again. I can't do it. So I took a hot shower. I was trying to calm myself down, but it was like I had gone a week with this anxiety kind of dissipating, and this light tingling just like triggered. It brought it all back. Immediately I was nauseous again. Immediately I couldn't sleep. Immediately that pit in my stomach just stayed there. Now it wasn't as bad as it had been previously. I wasn't feeling dizzy. I didn't have any of those like rush panic attacks, but that constant anxiety was there again. And I was now like, what is this tingling in my head? Like, what is this? Like, I had learned at that point that the other symptoms I'd gone through were, yeah, anxiety, because as soon as like I had my little placebo effect of anxiety medicine, they went away. So I was like, okay, yeah, that was like anxiety. What is this? And so now my brain is thinking, oh my God, no, something is wrong. Those first symptoms were anxiety, but this is like the real symptom. This is what's actually happening. And if you're curious, by the way, I am using some Black Cat banishing oil. Oh God, will it focus? Some Black Cat banishing oil from Moonlight and Sage in my hair. It smells amazing. And also I'm using this to hopefully get rid of some of the residual anxiety I'm currently feeling. But what was I saying? Yes, so just anxiety. It probably is, but it's like my brain was not thinking logically. And if you've ever endured an insane amount of anxiety, then you don't think logically. My brain was like, but what if it's not? What if it's the absolute worst case scenario? That is, although extremely unlikely, I was like, yeah, that's it. This is it. This is the moment. And so I was not having a good time. I basically kind of agreed, like, I'm going to hold out to see if the Lexapro starts working again. And then I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to talk with a psychiatrist. We're going to talk to doctors because I do think this is anxiety, but I also feel like something's wrong. But I don't want to be the person that's constantly going to the doctor thinking everything in the world is wrong, if that makes sense. Like, part of me knew it was anxiety, part of me was terrified it wasn't. So I scheduled a psychiatrist appointment, but it got scheduled out like a month away because they're super busy. And I had to go through their appointment first before I could schedule the therapist appointment. And so I was basically just waiting for this Lexapro to kick in. Now, here is a little bit of an issue that I had. My doctor put me on the lowest dose of Lexapro. I was at 5 milligrams, which is not a therapeutic dose. That is very low dose. He was, let me see if I can find, he was trying to start me low, basically to help avoid any potential like side effect symptoms, and also because you want people to be at like the lowest possible dose that's effective. You don't want them to be higher than they need to be, basically. And that's fine, but my issue was I was very much aware after about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, I was like, nothing's happening. I had my little placebo effect and that was a great little moment, but nothing is happening and I'm in hell. And I called my doctor and I was like, can he please up the dose? It's been 3 weeks. I feel exactly the same. Might as well not even have taken any medicine, and I'm panicking. Like, this is the worst anxiety I've ever felt in my entire life. And he says, no, you're gonna wait the full 6-week period and then we will evaluate at the end of the 6-week period whether you need to go up. And I was like, okay, well, that's awful and this is going to really suck. Genuinely, I would focus on work, and I loved working because I was able to not think about myself. I was able to just focus. And then when work was over, I would watch YouTube videos and just like zone in. I was like, I'm only watching like YouTube videos. I'm not doing anything. I'm not thinking about anything. I was trying to distract myself as best as I could. And I could only watch things that were happy and pleasant. I couldn't watch anything medically related because I would start thinking that I had whatever they had. I couldn't watch anything that was like too violent or too negative because it would stress me out. I couldn't even get on my phone because being on social media, like, I don't know, it's like it knew that I was not, you know, it's like it knew that I was obsessed with medical stuff in that moment, and so it wanted to show me medical stuff. So I couldn't because it was too high of a risk that I would see a post about something and then start panicking. So I literally was just on my laptop all the time watching happy YouTube videos. That's actually how I found Smosh again. I just needed everything positive in that moment. And looking back, I don't know how I did it. It was god awful to go through. I don't know if I could go through it again, but I was very, very strong in that moment. Like, I really am impressed with myself. That is the worst thing I've ever been through in my entire life. Yes, so eventually in all of this process, me and Aaron buy a house. I know, that's literally horrible timing. All of this is going on and it had started in the middle of us looking for a house. We knew we were going to buy a house this year. So in the midst of all of this anxiety, we buy a house. So yeah, you can imagine that did not help my anxiety very much because I already had a lot of very, you know, understandable things to be anxious about. So we bought a house, we moved. It actually gave me a very good excuse to have something to focus on. I was able to kind of just paint and like put all my energy into the house and not think about myself as much, which was really nice. But again, just a ton of bad feelings, a ton of anxiety, not a great time. Eventually the 6 weeks came up and I was able to go back to my PCP, who's now my old PCP, and beg for an increased dose because I was going through it. And of course he was like, yeah, you're still, you know, not feeling good. Yeah, we're gonna bump you up to 10. 10 is like, I think, the bare minimum therapeutic dose, but majority of people I think need at least 15 to 20 for it to work. But I was like, you know what, we're at a therapeutic dose, I'll take it. I should feel something at this point. Cool. Then around the same time, I actually had a doctor's appointment set with a new PCP that was closer to our new house. And so I went there, and I know that that man thinks I am batshit crazy because my health anxiety was a 10 at that point. His first time meeting me, I had 10 billion things that I was terrified of. And honestly, mad respect to him. He's probably the doctor I really needed because he looked me dead in the eye and he was like, you do not have cancer. You do not have a tumor. you have anxiety. And I think I needed that, you know, even though I didn't really listen in the moment, like my anxiety didn't care about this man telling me that because I have anxiety. I really appreciated him just being straight up like, you don't have cancer, like you have anxiety. And he was very much like, yeah, you need to meet with a psychiatrist and a therapist because you have some severe anxiety going on. But he did tell me, like, you know, we can get some blood work scheduled to like verify. He's like, but I don't think you have cancer. He was like, you don't, like, which was nice of him to say, although again, my anxiety brain really did not care. But it was nice. It was nice for him to say that. And then not long after that, I had my first meeting with a psychiatrist, and I love her. I love my psychiatrist so very much. She was very validating. She listened to everything I had to say, everything I went through, was like, no, yeah, that is absolutely awful. And she also kind of agreed with, yeah, 6 weeks on 5 milligrams is kind of a long time. So she was like, okay, you just got moved up to the 10. We'll see how that goes. But we're going to meet once a month. She's like, we're gonna meet once a month. We're gonna see how it's going, how you're feeling. And bless her and bless my new PCP, they got me a prescription medicine. It calms you down within like an hour or so. I think it like starts taking effect in an hour, and then within 4 hours or so, you're like good, you know? And that was the craziest thing for me, because the timeline I know seems really weird. I had been going through this at this point for about 2 months without any kind of like medication to calm me down. It was about 2 months of me basically unmedicated, going through this extreme health anxiety, constantly thinking I'm dying, like having almost no appetite, not wanting to do anything, being terrified. Like, it was awful. Again, I don't know how I did it, because 2 months is a really long time to go through that. So at this point, I now have a medicine I can use as needed for whenever I am basically losing my mind, like spiraling. And we increased to the 10 milligrams of Lexapro. That was beautiful. We loved her. Long story short, it was a long journey to find the dose of Lexapro that worked for me. I ended up needing the max dose for people without OCD. And it helped significantly. It did not make it, it's not fully gone. And we'll talk about that with what I experienced. It is not like fully gone, but it is mostly gone. I think the rest of it is going to come from therapy and time, honestly. But it helped so much. But once I met with that psychiatrist and my new PCP, things they got better, but it just took a really long time for them to get better, because I was now having to work through upping dosage and adjusting to it. And if you're not super familiar, when you are adjusting to a dose increase for anxiety medicine, a common symptom is increased anxiety, which unfortunately I did go through. So I would usually have a 1 to 2 week period of increased anxiety before I would level out and feel better. So I was going through it, but it was getting better overall. And it led to where I am now, where I do feel a lot better. All of that to say, that is what I've gone through in the past like several months, like basically the entirety of 2025, is going through this insane health anxiety from what we're pretty sure now was a type of migraine. And it hasn't happened again, thankfully. The tingling that I experience is also pretty sure a type of migraine symptom, also triggered by scalp psoriasis, which is triggered by stress. So basically I was in a loop of getting anxious, triggering these physical symptoms that, you know, were exacerbated by anxiety, and then that would then trigger my anxiety again. So we were going through it for a while, but things are better now. Honestly, health anxiety is horrible, because I've had anxiety before for other things, like when I graduated college, but with health anxiety, you can't run away from it, if that makes sense. Like, it's like what you're scared of is your own body. Like, you don't trust your own body. And because of that, like, I got no break from it. Like, I couldn't just go, you know, I don't know. I couldn't just go to a friend's house and forget about it and forget it was existing. Like, I was always aware of it because it was my body. And it was just absolutely awful. And of course, now I'm working with a psychiatrist and a therapist. So things are definitely better, and I think they're going to continue to get better. But yeah, that is one of my major life updates that I have been going through the past few months. A big reason why I have not really posted at all on this channel. Really have not done anything, if I'm being honest. I haven't done a lot of my normal hobbies at all. Like, I've not read as much, I've not been drawing as much, haven't been doing anything because for so long I was in fight or flight mode that I was just trying to survive. So that is my update. It took me basically what, I think like 40 minutes to talk through that while I'm just simply braiding my hair, but things are going to be better. I do trust that. But yeah, a little bit rough morning this morning, but feeling better. We're on a healing journey. That's all I have to say.
Rotten apples, and then little goldies up there.
Oh, my fave.
So, yeah,
No fingers? Crazy.
actually,
Kind of wild, but okay.
So, the general rating was a 4 stars. Most people did 3 stars. 2 people did 5. One person had